week 3 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few kickers. I have his sleepers this week. The first kicker, Will Richard of the Minnesota Vikings. Richard, we know he has a big boot. Last season, he came out of nowhere, kicked well for the Vikings. And so far this year, he's off to a good start. Week 1 in Chicago, 52-yarder, 35-yarder. And then week 2 versus the Falcons in that one, 37-yarder and a 53-yarder. So he's got a long-distance boot. Another home game indoors this week versus Cincinnati, where their defense isn't all that great. And this Viking team, they know they're going to have to put points on the board. Even with Jake Browning in there, quarterback, I still think Cincinnati could put up a decent point total. And anytime you're at home in a dome as well, have a good opportunity to have a good day kicking the football. And he's available right now in 90% of fantasy leagues. Next kicker, John Parker Romo of the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, cool, we're competing to see who's going to be the kicker in week 2. And Parker Romo, last week he went out there, didn't disappoint, pretty much winning the Falcons the game in that one, where he had 5 field goals, a 27-yarder, 32-yarder, 36-yarder, and a 54-yarder for Parker Romo. So versus former team, the Minnesota Vikings, he had a big game. This week, a good matchup at Carolina, where they don't stop anyone. They give up a lot of points. And like I said, Young Hoku's been a good kicker for many years with this Atlanta Falcon team, but his struggles in week 1 brought in Parker Romo to compete with him during the week before week 2. And Parker Romo beat him in the competition and obviously didn't disappoint in that game in Minnesota. So definitely someone out there in tons of leagues at 99% and a sleeper option this week. And the final kicker, Joey Sly of the Tennessee Titans. So Joey Sly, he's a veteran. He's bounced around a lot. No doubt about it. Carolina Panthers, New England Patriots, Tennessee Titans this season, had signed with the Indianapolis Colts as well. And he's still out there in 97% of fantasy leagues. In the first 2 weeks, he's had 15 or more fantasy points, which is a huge number at the kicking position. So week 1 at Denver, a big game for Sly, 53-yarder, 47-yarder, 33 and 36-yarder. And week 2 versus the Rams, a monster game for him, 37-yarder, 35-yarder, a 57 and a 52-yarder and an extra point in that game. So this week, Indianapolis coming to town. Their defense is a bend-don't-break unit at times. And this game could be a grinded-out game between 2 division rivals in this one. So Joey Sly, like I said, he's been a kicker with a big boot throughout his career, going back to his rookie season with the Carolina Panthers, with 50-plus yards hasn't been a problem. So right now, after 2 big weeks and amongst the league leaders in fantasy points at the position, he's still out there in 97% of fantasy leagues. That's a few kickers I have as sleepers for week 3 of the fantasy football season.